Thank you, Brittany, for being here today. Why don't you go ahead and give us a description of your company and what you do for the company?
Well, I'm a senior project manager for Caliber Development. We're a general contractor out of North Scottsdale. We primarily focus on residential, but we have a property management company that we do all the maintenance and turns and any construction that is needed for them, as well as a commercial.
Can you explain to us what you have done in the company to make a positive change?
Yes, actually, when I started with Caliber Development, I first oversaw the property management division, which included property management maintenance, turned into us doing actual construction on the property. So we remodeled the units, we upgraded them. At the time, we really had no system in place to measure what needed to be done. So when we purchased a property, there was no process to say, this is the amount of money we want to spend on the property, and these are the reasons why, and this is the money we will get back into the property on a revenue side to make those changes. So what I did is step in. I created an in-house construction team to get cheaper pricing to meet the needs of a lower cost construction team to be able to get that revenue back.
So how did this change impact the employees? Were they rejecting? Did they accept it?
Well, at first, most of the people did reject it, but I got a small group of the individuals that I knew were my all-star players and were really good quality employees or trades that we had used in the past. I sat them down together and I explained to them, how this would benefit them in the long run. And I explained to them where I had started, where they're starting now, where I am now, and where they're going to be in a year. It was pretty much at that point a no-brainer for them, and they were really excited to jump on board with Caliber, and they were excited, and at that point it gave them some momentum so we could really kick off a great team together.
That's awesome that you implanted that positive attitude into them as well. You did say in the beginning they hesitated. So is there a specific example when somebody was hesitant to it and you had to build on that?
Yeah, absolutely. We had many situations where these guys were just like, I can't do it. I have been an independent contractor my entire life. I could create my own schedule. So in a lot of those instances, I knew they were key players and I knew they could be leaders. So I had to think a little bit out of the box and create an avenue for them to still express themselves, being able to manage people right off the bat and still be able to bring your skills as a leader to the table without having to prove yourself in a corporate sense. So with them being able to do that right away, it really allowed them to express themselves and get rid of any worries that they had in their mind that this wasn't the right decision for them.
That is true. Also, in a main quality in a leader is being able to distribute other leadership and building that trust, and they're more likely to follow you when they know that you trust them with having leadership in the company as well. So can you express to us the end-all goal or the main vision at the end of all this change?
Yeah, absolutely. So to begin with, our goal was a little bit different. Our goal was to create an in-house construction team that could come in and get jobs done quicker, managed by one person, and ultimately cheaper. As the time has passed, our goals have changed. And with that, those goals being changed, our goals change with our employees changes. So, not necessarily just making it cheaper, but making a better environment for our employees and making sure that their needs were being met as well as ours. So as much as we were getting it cheaper, we wanted to reward them for that. So, we would give raises, we'd give increases, we'd create bonus structures, create competitive games to keep people intrigued with our new system and keep them motivated with the change that we were inhabiting at that time.
So how did you keep the communication honest and personable so that they could build that trust and continue on with building that change?
It's absolutely a difficult position to be in as a manager. My ultimate goal was to stay personable but professional and always ask the right questions. Know your audience.
And opening that lane of communication too can help them feel comfortable coming to you when they have an idea or they have an issue and they're not afraid.
Absolutely. Yeah, they definitely would come to me over any other boss because I ask them those questions and they feel like they can confide in me.
Did you create short-term goals in order to keep your team motivated in reaching that end vision?
Yeah, we had long-term and short-term goals. within our property management side, most of our work was done at multifamily complexes. So we had all different kinds of units that we had to turn. Some of them were really bad and some of them were really easy. But what we would do is basically create a short-term goal of how many we wanted to complete on a daily, a weekly basis, a monthly basis, and quarterly. It helped them be able to kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Do you believe at this point you have reached that end vision?
Yeah, absolutely. We created a goal in the very beginning, and it changed a few times throughout, and it's forever changing, and it will continue to change.
Now that Caliber has reached their main vision, are the employees still engaging in creating the next change, or are they holding on to old habits?
Actually, they haven't really held on to a whole lot of what their old bad habits were. Most of the guys that I hired in the very beginning saw the change, and I was able to change their life in such a great way where they're making more money and they are happier where they're at, that now they have grown into the position that I was at when I first started, and now I'm managing multiple of them, and they have a new crew that they're hiring, they're working with, and they're developing. So they've been able to climb the ladder, they've been able to see these significant changes, and they've been able to implement these into the people that they've hired as well. So for the most part, we've seen a significant change, and everyone's been really positive. You're always going to have a couple people that aren't as excited about those changes, and those people leave. But for the most part, it's been great, and everyone's done really well with it.
Thank you again, Brittani, for joining us on this interview, and also thank you for being one of those leaders in the community that all these corporations need.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.